What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Last Word Sports Podcast. I'm your host tonight, Scott Burt, accompanied by Fletcher Ferris, two
Hello,
football
hello.
experts right here. And we're going to be giving you guys our way too early Week 1 game predictions. So we're going to be running through all the games in Week 1 of the 2020 NFL season. Hopefully, everything's good by then. Season's on. And so we're just going to give you our predictions. This is not going to be like super in-depth. We're just going to kind of go through win-loss. If it's a controversial pick, we'll give you some insight. All right, Fletch, you want to get started?
Yeah, I'll kick us right off with the Thursday night football game. It's going to be a rematch of this playoff bout that happened between the Chiefs and the Texans, where the Texans choked a little bit of a lead there.
A little bit, just a little
But
bit.
I don't think the outcome's going to be any different. I'm taking the Chiefs in this one.
I'm with you. Not much to say. Chiefs roll here.
Yeah.
All right, next
All right.
game. Buffalo, New York Jets. Who do you got?
Well, it's at Buffalo, so I'm going to take the Bills here. I think they're just the more fleshed out squad, and
I do too.
I don't have faith in Sam Darnold yet. I still like Josh Allen a bit more than
I
Sam
think the
Darnold.
Jets are a little slept on. They were only 7-9 last year, and that was with Luke Falk for like 4 games. The Jets are actually a solid team, but at the same time, like you said, the Jets' strength is their defense. I think Buffalo is a better defense. They both have young quarterbacks. I think Josh Allen's slightly better than Sam Darnold. And the Bills just acquired Stephon Diggs, so I think Buffalo rolls here.
Yep, it could go either way, but I think the Bills just have the edge at home. But I do think overall they'll split.
All right, Seattle, Atlanta.
Seattle, Atlanta. I'm gonna be taking the Seahawks here.
Me too. No
Yeah,
upset so far.
yeah. No upsets.
I think Atlanta could be a little dangerous, but until I see results from their defense, I'm not going to trust it.
Yeah, no. I mean, Atlanta still has elite members on their offense who can always go off and have a huge game, and they're a team that has a roster that's capable of beating anybody.
Yeah.
They just have massive inconsistencies, and you can't put everything on the back of Matt Ryan and Julio.
Yeah.
Because they can't, they can't do everything week in, week out.
Although it'll be exciting to see how Todd Gurley does. His
Oh
first game
yeah, that's true.
APL
That's true. Hopefully he can bounce back. He was really fun to watch.
Yeah. All right. So next game, Baltimore, Cleveland. I'm assuming we both have Baltimore here.
Yeah, I mean the Ravens are gonna roll them. It is a divisional game, so
Yeah.
it can be weird. It could be closer than I think it's gonna be, but it's in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson is coming hot off an MVP year, and I think he's gonna want more.
Cleveland has the talent to win this game. I was tempted to pick Cleveland. Offensively, they should be a top 5 unit in the league, but I just can't believe it until I see it. We said all the same stuff last year. This year, it seems like they only added players and Jack Conklin, Austin Hooper. They got all these guys, but I still just, I'm not going to buy in until I see them win games.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, talent's there. It's just they need to put it together. Plus, the game is in Baltimore, which adds another wrinkle. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did split the series if they're able to put all their talent together.
All right, cool. Next up, Carolina Panthers, Las Vegas Raiders. What you thinking, Fletch?
So this is actually my closest one yet. It's really tough. We still don't exactly know how the quarterback situation in Carolina is gonna end up.
Yeah. Or
Like,
in Las Vegas, due to your boy.
or in Las Vegas, it could end up being Marcus rolling out week 1. We never know. If crazier things have happened, but I think it will be Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr would have to mess up for them to put Marcus. He's been the starter there for years, but I do think he's on a short leash. But I
Yeah.
do think we're going to see Derek Carr on the Raiders, and I do actually kind of want to go with the Raiders here.
Mhm.
Even though the Panthers probably have the better roster on paper, and this might be a little bit of an upset considering it's at Carolina, I want to go with the Raiders here.
I picked Carolina here, but I can totally see why you picked Las Vegas. I think the spread, super early, but I think it was a pick 'em, even spread. Nobody knows who's going to win. Matt Rule's an unknown, so that's the tricky thing here. And like you said, the Panthers quarterback situation, like is Teddy Bridgewater, we don't know what he's going to look like. But I think at the same time, Las Vegas is solid but not great. And I think Christian McCaffrey will get just enough splash plays for them to win a close one.
Yeah, that's just the thing is that, Las Vegas's only real strength on defense, if you could say they have any, is their front seven. And like we said, we still don't know how quarterback and the receiving threat of the Panthers is going to end up. So I think it's going to be close because the matchup goes well for the Raiders.
Yep. All right, so Chicago, Detroit, who are you thinking?
I mean, as much as I feel bad for Detroit and I hate Trubisky, it's just Detroit is so terrible. I got
Yeah.
to go with the Bears here. They still got an elite defense. Eddie Jackson, Khalil Mack. I mean, what are the Lions going to do?
Detroit was not bad last year when Stafford was healthy, but they were still only like 3-3. And when he went down, ship just sank. I don't think Detroit is bought into Matt Patricia's scheme and philosophy here. I think he's losing the locker room. The talent is going the wrong direction. I think Chicago wins this one.
Yep, I'm with you.
All right, Indianapolis, Jacksonville. Fletch, what you thinking?
I'm taking Indianapolis here. I know
Me too.
Philip had a rough year with the Chargers in his final year as a Charger, but I think you give him T.Y. Hilton and you give him,
That
oh
O
man,
line, Jonathan
yeah,
Taylor,
yeah,
Marlon
that
Mack,
line,
Michael
Jonathan
Pittman.
Taylor, Marlon Mack. It's not like he had a lack of talent in Los Angeles at all. No, that's not the case at all. But I think a fresh start is exactly what Philip needed, and I think he's going to look good in that jersey. As much as it pains me to say it, because the Colts could end up looking scary this year, and they're going against my Titans a lot. So
Yeah.
that's an
I'm
issue.
not sold on the Colts, but I could see them anywhere from 6-10 to 10-6. But I think Jacksonville's going to be in the race for the number one pick here. They are just losing talent left and
They're in
right,
a
trading
downward
guys.
spiral. Yeah, it's a completely different team than what we saw in 2017. It's shocking to see how quickly they fell off.
And
And
Fournette's on the trade block too now.
as a Titans fan, it fills my heart with joy, but at the same time, I feel empathy for those poor Jacksonville fans.
They had one good year with the Bortles Rocket. All right, so moving on, Minnesota, Green Bay. What's your pick?
Minnesota Green Bay. Now this is probably the tightest pick yet of two teams that are both playoff caliber teams.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's in Minnesota, which helps them. However, they just lost Stephon Diggs. It's now down to Adam Thielen as their true number one. And, I don't know because Aaron Rodgers is aging too. He's been declining year by year. It's a really tough pick. But at the end of the day, I think I am going to stick with the Packers. I like Aaron Jones too much, even though the Vikings have a great front seven. I think the Packers are just better coach, you know, better matchups. I don't know. I just like the Packers here.
I'm actually going Minnesota. I can see why you went Green Bay. Green Bay beat them twice last year, but I think Green Bay is going to regress a lot this year. They were 13-3 last season, despite having a really weak schedule. I
Yeah, it
think
was a
it
very
was because of
inflated
schedule. Like
schedule.
they really did not beat very many good opponents other than Minnesota. I think this year though, Minnesota's core they kept intact, other than Stephon Diggs, who was kind of reportedly maybe a troublemaker, and they replaced him with Justin Jefferson. Could have a similar impact. I like what Minnesota's doing, the way they're trending. Dalvin Cook, running the ball, smash mouth. And I think Green Bay's going the opposite direction, not investing in receivers. Aaron Rodgers is declining. Coach QB conflict doesn't bode well for an opening day game.
Yeah, it doesn't, but you know, I something it's just more of a gut feeling that I have the Packers winning, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Vikings take it because they're a very good team. They're always hyped up as, for some reason, sleeper Super Bowl contenders, even though I think their roster is just as talented as some of the best in the league. But, Minnesota could very easily win this game, and I wouldn't have any issues with that.
All right, cool. Philadelphia, Washington. Let's just
Yeah.
say Philly and move on.
Yeah, let's just say Philly. The Skins are garbage.
Washington, they're just too young.
Yep.
Maybe a couple years down the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Cincinnati, LA Chargers. What are you thinking?
I'm taking LA. It's the duel between two of the top three quarterbacks in the draft, potentially, unless Tyrod Taylor starts
Good
the
roll,
first,
Tarad.
which I wouldn't be surprised at all. He seems like he's a pretty
He's a
solid
good
transition
journeyman.
quarterback. So, but I think the Chargers are just a much more talented roster, and I think they
Yeah.
are going to be able to take this game pretty easily, actually.
So I'm actually picking Cincinnati. I know it's a bit unconventional, but I think this is going to be an upset. It's at Cincinnati. It's the home opener. It's going to be loud. It's going to be wild. They're going to finally have a crowd. They've got Joe Burrow, the Heisman, the number 1 overall pick. It's going to be electric. I think they can kind of turn things around a little bit. AJ Green will be back, hopefully, see what he can do. Joe Mixon, there's a lot of hype and potential around this team. They've got hope in the locker room now, and I think they're going to come out angry. I think the Chargers will come out a little flat, kind of underestimating Cincinnati. I think over the course of the year, the Chargers will have a better record, but I think Cincinnati can steal week 1.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from. I actually think the Chargers are going to come out angry too because they probably feel extremely underwhelmed with how they perform given the talent on
Last
the
year.
roster. So I actually think the Chargers are going to come out rather angry, and I think they're going to storm into Cincinnati and try to smash the Bengals in an opening statement. But you never know with Smoking Joe.
Smoking Joe, baby.
Smoking Joe 2.0, Joe Burrow. But yeah, no. I think Joe Burrow, he could go off. This game is a little bit of a question mark, but I have the Chargers. They're just a much more talented roster.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so moving on. Tampa Tom Brady, New Orleans Saints. Who you got?
I'm not buying into the hype of Tampa Bay as much as a lot of other people are. They're like, oh, Gronk's there. The world's ending. New England 2.0. And I'm like, no.
Oh, no. They got a 30-plus-year-old tight end who's been out of the league for a year and was notorious for getting injured before that, who's been drinking beer and playing WWE.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got an aging Tom who's just above average at best now. That's no disrespect to him. It's just that's the truth of the matter. But, and then you have the Saints who are among the league's elite and a Super Bowl contender this coming year. So I have the Saints actually rolling over them by over 20 points this game.
20 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little higher than Tampa Bay than you are. I think they very well have a chance at making a deep playoff run. They've got the talent. Tom Brady's a great leader. And if he can just be solid this year, they've got the weapons. But I think in week 1, I think what really is going to show is Tom Brady's lack of communication and rapport with his new receivers and new system. He's been in New England for 20 years. Like, he has never thrown a pass to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And with the way that, coronavirus is heading, he might not be able to throw a pass to them before, week 1. So I think, what's going to show is Drew Brees and Michael Thomas have this great connection. And Tom Brady, I think, is going to take a couple games. Might be a bumpy ride for him to adjust to his new teammates. Bruce Arians' vertical system where he's always been throwing short, quick passes. So.
Yeah. Although if there is one quarterback who's able to adjust, it would be Tom Brady, who to many people is the GOAT. Not my GOAT, but to many
Very
people.
cerebral guy.
Yeah, he's
okay. Next amazing. Game, Fletch. San Francisco, Arizona. What are you thinking?
Yeah. I mean, do I even need to say San Francisco? Let's move on.
No, because I picked Arizona.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Hear me out. I know you're going to hate me.
No.
You're a big SF guy. I think SF has all the talent to make it back to the Super Bowl. But in week 1, I think they come out flat. And who knows why, but Carolina did it. The Rams did it. When these teams lose in the Super Bowl, it's just a tough road back. You lose some of your hunger, and it's just hard. I think Arizona, by the way, matches up really well with San Francisco. You looked at the 2 times they played them last year. Arizona probably should have won both of those games. And they added DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler Murray's going to get better in year 2. They've got Kenyon Drake kind of stabilized now. I think Arizona is a better situation than they were last year. And they already, were able to almost pull off some upsets. I think week 1, they can steal a dub over San Francisco. Over the course of the year, I would still predict San Francisco to win the division. But I think in week 1, they might underestimate their opponent.
I don't think they're going to underestimate them at all. I think they are hungrier than they were last year. If you've been paying attention to G Kittle on Instagram or anything like that, the whole locker room's hungry. My boy Quan Alexander was out in Eugene the other week working out with a couple of teammates who are from Oregon. The Niners are hungry. I don't think they're going to be one of those Super Bowl hangover teams who just say, no. I think my only real question mark is how Jimmy G is going to end up, how he took that loss, and if he's going to be able to recover mentally. But I think Jimmy G is going to be able to do it. George Kittle and him are great friends. I think Kittle's going to be able to get Jimmy G in the right state of mind. And I do get scared whenever we play the Cardinals, even though they are an inferior roster. They always play us close. They're always a tough win, but normally a win.
Yep.
It's always a tough one, but my gut just tells me Niners. We got rid of Matt Breida, which sucks, but
You got Raheem.
we got Raheem, we got Coleman, and we got Jet
Derek
McKinnon.
McKinnon.
But no, I got the Niners. But it isn't a close one, but I got the Niners.
Cool. All right, Dallas, LA Rams. I picked Dallas. I think the Rams are trending the wrong way. Jared Goff is regressing, and that was last year. He regressed with Todd Gurley and Brandon Cooks, who are both now gone. I think the Rams very well could go 6-10 this year.
Yeah, the Rams definitely seem like they're on a downward trend, but Sean McVay, Sean McVay, he's shown that he's an elite coach. He's shown that he's capable of using talent well. So you never know, but I do have the Rams losing and the Cowboys being 1-0, unfortunately.
I think the Cowboys would start off strong like last year, but I really don't see them winning more than 10-ish games, All this, the roster's so talented hype. Same deal as last year. Let's
even
wait
know
and
if
see
Dak's
before
gonna
they're
play.
going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, well, they got the red rifle, so forget about it.
Got the
Dak
red
doesn't come on to win
rifle.
the Super Bowl guaranteed.
Andy Dalton.
All right, next game, Fletch. I know there may be a little bit of bias here. I'm picking the New York Giants to beat Pittsburgh Week 1. Just hear me out, okay? I know Pittsburgh's good, but Ben Roethlisberger is a really big question mark. We don't know what he's going to look like. Coming off of a really bad injury that caused him to miss almost the entire season last year. He is a big question mark. The receiving core, Juju, was not that great last year. Deontay Johnson played nicely, but he hasn't, for sure established himself as a number 2. And the running game, James Conner, again, isn't like a certainty. Their offense could be weak. Now, their defense is really, really good. But I think it's probably going to be a low-scoring game, and the Giants at home can sneak one out with Big Ben's rust, especially since Big Ben's off-season training regime usually consists of a beer, a yoga massage, and some hot dogs. So I don't think he's going to be ready for Week 1.
Oh, poor Big Ben always getting made fun of. But no, I'm not upset by your pick at all. They're only 3.5-point underdogs, something like that.
Yeah, I like Joe Judge.
The Giants have a bunch of talent. Daniel Jones had a better rookie year than a lot of people are giving him credit for. The only issue I have with the Giants right now, well, actually 2 issues. Their names are Joe Judge, and I'm sure, I'm sure you can name the other coach I have an issue with.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be Jason Garrett or Freddie Kitchens.
Oh, yeah. I forgot Freddie Kitchens is there. Okay, I've got 3 issues. Joe Judge, Jason Garrett, and Freddie Kitchens.
I know Garrett and Kitchens are question marks. I actually like Judge so far. He seems like a good
Joe Judge was a special teams coach.
I don't know. We'll see how it works out. Harbaugh was special teams.
I love the talent on the Giants. I love the talent. I love the roster. I like the Giants. I'm a Giants homer. I have no hate for the Giants. I like them because you like them. And, I'm all for the Giants doing good and winning that division. I can't put them over a team with as good a defense as Pittsburgh with all these question marks at the coaching positions.
And I can get that. Okay, so our final game, Denver, Tennessee. Who you got?
Yeah, I got Tennessee. They lost to Denver last year with actually both the quarterbacks, Marcus and Tannehill, throwing picks in that game. It was a rough loss, but I think they're going to bounce back. They've got to be feeling a lot of confidence after making it to the AFC Championship game last year and almost winning and making it to the Super Bowl and making my dream Super Bowl happen. Either way, I would have won. But I like the Titans. While the Broncos do have a really good matchup for a team with the play style like the Titans on offense, with the heavy running style with Derrick Henry, I think the Titans are just going to be so much more confident heading into this game than they were the last time, because last time they went into Denver, they had a negative record. There were question marks at quarterback and all these questions in the locker room. And this time, they have the guy in Tannehill. They know Derrick Henry and his potential. And I think they're going to be able to come out with a lot more confidence than they had before and be able to beat the Broncos. But it will be a close game.
Yeah,
It'll be
and I could see Tennessee winning, but I picked Denver. I think it's really tough to play a mile high, especially week one. They can usually pull off some upsets. I really like what Drew Lock did at the end of last year, and I think John Elway did a good job of surrounding him with a ton of young talent. Cortland Sutton broke out last season. Noah Fant's a speedster. They got KJ Hamler in the draft, and they got Jerry Jeudy in the draft. Two really nice weapons. So I think the key to this game is going to be Lock. See if like the short sample size of what he did last year, if that's really what he's going to be moving forwards, or if that was just kind of like luck of the draw. So he's the key here. Tennessee, like you said, is a good team, but I think sometimes when you come off of a tough loss like that in the AFC Championship game, a team can be a little demoralized and take a couple of games early on in the year to kind of find their groove again.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that, and I'm not upset in any way, shape, or form for picking the Broncos against the Titans. The matchup is really good for the Broncos all around, and yeah, teams can be demoralized, but for me, I think the Titans making the AFC Championship game is going to be nothing but a confidence booster. Nobody expected them to be there. They almost won and made it to
Yeah.
the Super Bowl, so I think they're going to have nothing but high expectations for themselves, and they're going to be pretty motivated to come out and get a victory. But like I said, it will be a close game. I think it'll be within 7 points.
Yep. All right, so I think that does it, folks. Those are all our games, all our picks for week one of the 2020 NFL season. Comment below. Tell us what you guys think. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? Who's going to make it to the Super Bowl next year? Obviously, the Giants. You don't have to tell us that. As usual, thank you for watching. I'm your host, Scott Converts, here with my boy Fletcher Ferris. This has been The Last Word.